Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Pristine's webinar on fixed income securities. We are just going to wait for about 5 more minutes to see if some more people come in. So please be patient for that time and we'll get started soon. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll start now. So hello everyone and welcome to Pristine's webinar on fixed income securities. First of all, before starting off, I'd like to thank you all for joining in. I'd just like to check with everyone if they can hear me fine. So if you can just reply on the chat if you can hear me correctly, that would be great. Okay, so I seem to be audible. Okay. So, thank you everyone again for joining us. We'll be discussing the topic of fixed income securities, primarily from the point of view of CFA examination, level 1. So, as you might be knowing, fixed income securities is a pretty important topic in the level 1 exam. It carries around 12% weightage, and you can expect a good mix of questions, both purely theoretical as well as calculation based questions from this topic. So it's very important to have your concepts clear. So we'll try to help at least in the quantitative part of the topic in today's webinar. Right. So basically we are Pristine. So Pristine is actually a leader in training for finance. It's authorized by the major institutes like CFA, GARP, Premier to hold trainings for their certification examinations. And it serves a marquee client list. As you can see, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Ernst & Young, IIM Calcutta, etc. Okay, so then something about me. I am Himank. I'm working for the content development team of Pristine, and we are actually trying to uh, send out a lot of take a lot of free webinars and eventually put on the same corresponding videos online for free in order to help the candidates better their preparation. So we'll be coming up with a lot of material in the coming days. So we'll keep you posted on that. Okay, so let's look at the topics that we'll be covering. So starting with fixed income, we'll be starting with the introduction to fixed income securities, the type of fixed income securities. We'll be looking at how bonds are valued. Then we'll look at the traditional yield measures that are used. And finally, we'll look at the concepts of duration and convexity. So as you can see, we will mostly be covering the quantitative section of the fixed income securities for CFA. However, we have kept it the topics restricted for now because the trouble with such webinars is that it's very difficult to gauge the level of preparation of the audience. So in order to basically be fair to everyone, we have kept the amount of syllabus covered in this webinar to a rather basic level. If, however, you guys feel that there is a requirement for a more in-depth analysis of the topic, feel free to drop us a mail or let me know in the chat. And if there are a sufficient number of people who require another go through of the topic in a greater detail, we'll definitely do that and help you out. Okay, so let's start off. So starting with the introduction to fixed income securities. So what is a fixed income security basically? It's an investment that provides a return in the form of fixed periodic payments and the eventual principal at maturity. So the key point here is that the payments are basically fixed at a pre-specified period of time. You will get a fixed payment uh, on buying a fixed income security. So that is unlike a variable income security where the payments are based on some underlying measure, such as the short-term interest rates. The payments for a fixed income security are known in advance and they are fixed. So an example here would be a $1,000 US Treasury bond which pays 6% annual coupon with 5 years maturity. So basically we have this treasury bond which will pay 6% of the $1,000, that is $60 every year for 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, it will return the principal amount, that is the $1,000. So this is an example of a fixed income security. So at this point, I'll just like to clarify again if people are able to hear me fine. So if you can just let me know in the chat, that will be great. Okay, so it seems there are no problems with the audio, so we'll continue. Okay, so now let's look at the different types of fixed income securities. So starting off, we have the treasury securities such as the treasury bills, the treasury notes, treasury bonds, and inflation protected securities. These are all issued by the US Treasury, and they have a maturity. So the treasury bills have the least maturity of less than 1 year. So they are effectively zero coupon bonds. Then this basically means that they do not have any intermediate interest payment or coupon payment, as we say, and they directly pay out the principal at when the maturity of the bond is reached. Then we have treasury notes, which have maturities of 2, 3, 5, and 10 years. So in this case, the prices are quoted in percentage plus the 32 of the 1% face value. So you can expect a question on this. So the way that is the yields are denoted for treasury notes is that it will be something like 102:5. So that would mean that the bond has a price of 102% of face value plus 5 by 32 of 1% of the face value. So this is how basically the price of such treasury notes is denoted, and we can convert it by the method I just told you. Okay, so then we have the treasury bonds which have a longer maturity of 20 to 30 years. So these bonds are basically non-callable. Yeah, so actually Rohit has a doubt. He wants an example to be told for the treasury notes. So again, the way it will be asked of you is a note will be given and its price will be given like something like 102:5. So what this means is, suppose it has a face value of $1,000. So this means that the price of the note will be 102% of the $1,000. So that will be $1,020 plus 5 by 32. So the figure that is given after the colon, you divide by 32, and then you take the value from there. That is 1% of the face value. So 1% of the face value would be 10. So essentially it will be 1020 plus 5 by 32 of $10. So this will give you the complete price of the treasury notes. Okay, then moving on for treasury bonds, they have 20 to 30 years maturity, and they are basically non-callable. That is, the US Treasury cannot buy back the bonds from you before the maturity period. Then we have treasury inflation protected securities. So these have a maturity of 5, 10, and 20 years. Here basically in order to protect the buyers of the security from inflation, the US Treasury continually changes its par value or the principal value based on the present inflation. So in case the inflation increases, the principal or the par value will be increased so that the corresponding coupon payments. So coupon payments are made as a percentage of the principal value. So when you increase the par value, the coupon payments will automatically increase. So in a way, the buyer will be getting a higher return in a scenario where the inflation is high. And similarly, when the inflation is lower, the customer will be getting a lower return because the par value will decrease and correspondingly the coupon payments will decrease. Okay, so next we have, so these are all basically issued by the US Treasury, which means that they are very reliable sources of investment, and as a result they have very high credit rating. So next we have Treasury strips, which are issued by various parties. What is done here is treasury securities are taken and their coupon payments are removed and they are converted into zero coupon bonds. So this is just done to satisfy the need of the market to have zero coupon bonds. Next we have the agency bonds. So these are federally related institutes like the Ginnie Mae, the government-sponsored enterprises like Freddie Mac, and again mortgage-backed securities are also issued by the similar of Ginnie Mae, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. So these are basically like Ginnie Mae is the government National Mortgage Association. The Freddie Mac is the Federal Home Loan Association. So these are basically supported by the government like the Freddie Mac, or they are federally related. So their credit rating is also pretty high. However, the credit rating of federally related institution like Ginnie Mae will be higher than Freddie Mac. Okay, next we'll look at the municipal bonds, tax bonds, and revenue bonds. These are all issued by the state and local governments. So one point about municipal bonds is that their coupon interest payments, that is the interest payments that they make over their life, are usually tax exempt. That is, in most of the cases, these payments will be tax exempt. So that is an additional benefit of investing in these bonds. Then we have the revenue bonds. So for revenue bonds, these are usually sold for any upcoming projects. So say the construction of a toll road. So here basically revenue bonds will be sold to fund the construction of the toll road, and once it's done, the payments from the toll tax that will be collected on the road and other similar payments that will accrue from the road will actually be used to pay back the bondholders. So as a result, the payment to the bondholders is subject to the success of the project for which the bonds are distributed. Okay. So guys, please feel free to ask questions in the chat anytime you have a doubt. I will be glad to stop and address them. Yeah. So next we'll look at some of the common terms that we'll come across. So that is, one is the par value of the bonds. So it is basically the face value of the bond. So whenever you look at a question, it will always talk about a bond. It will always mention a value for the bond initially. It will say $1,000 bond or a $10,000 bond. So this value is basically the par value of the bond. It is also the price of a bond when coupon rate equals the yield to measure rate. So yeah, we'll actually talk about this in the coming slides. So I'll take it up then. Then we have the coupon payments. The coupon payments are basically the interest payments that are made on the bond. So if you think of a bond as a mortgage or a loan, the coupon would be the interest that you pay. So the coupon would be the interest any organization is paying to the bondholders. Okay, so these are typically paid semi-annually. And then we'll look at the maturity. The maturity is the basically determines the life of the bond. So on reaching maturity, the organization that issued the bond will basically pay back the full amount of the outstanding principal plus any applicable interest to the bondholders. Okay, then zero coupon bonds are bonds that don't pay any interest, that is a coupon, and they only pay out the principal value on reaching maturity. Okay. Okay, so before we talk about the valuation of bonds, it's important to understand the concept of time value of money. So I'll assume that you guys are not aware of that, and I'll just give you a brief overview of the topic. So the idea is that basically, say you have $100. There are two scenarios. Say you have $100 with you right now, and in the other scenario, say you have $100 with you after 1 year. So how do we compare these two amounts? Uh, just give me a minute. So basically we have case 1 where you have $100 right now, and we have case 2 where you have $100 after 1 year. So if we see what we can do with this money in 1 year, we can basically put it in a bank where it will accrue interest, and say the interest rate is 8%. So after 1 year, we will have 100 into 1.08. So that is $108. So this basically means that the value of $100 right now is greater than the value of $100 after 1 year. So in order to, if we want to find out the value of $100 that we are going to receive after 1 year, by right now, what we'll do is we will discount this value by the given interest rate or the discount rate. So this is called the present value of the $100 that we would get after 1 year. We are trying to find what is its value right now. So basically this will be its value, which will be less than $100. Okay, so yeah, so Christopher has a doubt. He's saying are municipal and revenue bonds used to finance similar projects? So Christopher, I think they are used to finance slightly different projects. Basically, municipal bonds have a greater backing of the government behind them, so they do not require uh, basically they have a better guarantee of paying you back, whereas revenue bonds can usually only pay you back after they start earning revenue. So while municipal bonds would be used for a very essential projects such as, say, providing for basic amenities or funding a very providing basic utilities for like uh, constructing a new water tower or something of that sort, something like water, which is a basic amenity, that will be issued by a municipal bond, and revenue bond will be for a one-time project which does not have a similar backing of a government entity. Okay, yeah, and in the strips, the coupon is, he's asking in this treasury strips, the coupon is stripped, and who basically retains the coupons. So that is basically retained by the issuer, and they can use it separately as they wish. They just float the principal payment separately as a zero coupon bond. Yeah. So I hope that explains your doubt, Christopher. Okay, we'll move ahead then. Okay, so we'll next look at the valuation of bonds. So first of all, we'll look at the annual coupon bonds. So these are bonds which will pay the interest at an annual rate. So as an example, let's consider a security that will pay C dollars per year. This would be the coupon payment or the interest payment, and make a single P dollar payment at maturity. This is the principal or the par amount that it will pay back at maturity. The value of bond is calculated by discounting cash flows with the discounting rate, say D%. So the discounting rate is usually taken as a output of different measures such as the prevalent interest rate, the credit risk associated with the bond. All of these factors go into the determination of the discount rate. So in this case, we'll use the same concept that we used before of time value of money. So suppose there are 10 payments. So basically, if this is the timeline, we'll have payments at all of these points, that is after 1 year, after 2 years, and after 9 years, after 10 years, and in between as well. And we will, to value the bond, we will simply find out the present value, that is the value at this point, that is t equal to 0, of all of these payments. So every payment that we are receiving, so we are receiving C here, C here, C here, and finally we are receiving C as well as P, that is the principal value at this point. So we will take all of these cash flows and we will discount them for the appropriate period of time. So this particular cash flow will be discounted for 1 year. So its present value would be C by 1 plus D, and this value, this cash flow would be discounted for 2 years. So its value would be C 1 plus D whole square, because we are discounting twice. We'll go on similarly, and finally we'll get this for the 9th year and for the 10th year. So what we have done is just find out the present value of all the cash inflows that the bondholder will receive from the bond. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Let's move on. So we have a question here. So there's a $1,000 7% 10-year annual pay bond which has a yield of 7.8%. So we can, for now, we can just consider the yield to basically mean the discount rate. If the yield remains unchanged, how much will the bond value increase over the next 4 years? So here we basically need to find out the value of the bond at the time of its issue when there were 10 years left to its maturity, and we will compare it with the value of the bond when after 4 years when there are 6 years left to its maturity. So Again, if people would like to try out this question, that would be great. So I'll give you around a minute to try this out, and then we'll discuss the solution. If you can give me your answers in the chat, that would be great. Yeah, so DV seems to have given the answer 962.79. So DV, what we actually want here is the difference between the bond values at the two times. So if you could calculate the bond values at both time, that is time t equal to 0 and time t equal to 4, and what you want is to calculate the difference between the two values. Okay, so I think there have been some good attempts for this question. So let's look at the solution here. So basically A is the solution. So the way to get that is basically we have two cases here. Case 1 would be where at a time equal to 0, we'll calculate the value of the bond. So the value of the bond would be, we have 7% payments from the principal amount. So that will be, so we are getting payments of $70, and 7.8 is the discount rate that we have to take. So this is how we'll discount it. And we'll get similar payments for a period of 10 years, and we'll keep on discounting them. Finally, we will get this plus this. So this will give us the value of the bond at t equal to 0. And the case 2 will be at t equal to 4. Here we'll find out the value of, so here basically we will only have 6 coupon payments pending. So for this part, this would be the formula to calculate the value of the bond. So I hope you can understand this. In case 1, we had the time was left was to maturity was 10 years. So we had to take all the 10 coupon payments along with the principal value, and the time, the requirement for discounting was similarly 10 years for the last payments. But in case 2, the time is 4 years, the time left is 6 years. So we just have 6 coupon payments, and the discounting is done similarly. This should be 6, I'm sorry. Yep. So if we take out the difference between the two, so in case 2 would be greater than case 1 by $16.96. Please do let me know if you still have doubts. I'll be discussing a few more questions like this. So if you still have doubts, I'd be glad to share an Excel with you, which will explain these questions very well after the session. Okay. So now looking at semi-annual coupon bonds. So here the coupon payments are made semi-annually. So and similarly, the discounting rate also needs to be semi-annual. Now, the traditional way of depicting the coupon and the discount rates are at an annual rate. So even in the questions, you will most probably be given the coupon rates and the discounting rates on an annual basis. So we need to convert that into a semi-annual on a semi-annual basis. So initially we had the coupon rate as C. We'll convert it to C by 2. That is on a semi-annual basis. Similarly, the discount rate is D, and we'll convert it to D by 2, again to make it semi-annual. Also, because we are taking 6 months periods now, the number of periods that we are considering will double. So for the same 10-year period, we'll now have 20 periods. And this remaining formula would be the same. Okay. So now coming to zero coupon bonds, these are relatively straightforward. They have no coupon payments. There's only the payment of principal at maturity. So to find out their value, it's rather straightforward. We will just take the principal amount and discount it for the whole life of the bond. So say for a 10-year bond, we will just take the principal value and discount it for 10 years using the discount rate. So this will give us the value of the bond. Okay, so we have another question. So investor buys a 10-year, $10,000, 8% coupon, semi-annual pay bond for $9,100. He sells it 4 years later, just after receiving the 8th coupon payment, when its yield to maturity is 5.6%. What would be the bond price at the time of sale? So here again we can consider the yield to maturity as the discount rate. So this is the discount rate. So it's a 10-year, $10,000. So $10,000 is the principal value, 8% coupon. This is the annual coupon. So we'll need to divide it by 2 to get the semi-annual coupon. And its current price is $9,100. So we need to find out what its value would be after 4 years. So it's something similar to the previous question. We basically need to find out the value at t equal to 4. Yeah, so if you guys can try it out for a minute or so, that would be great. Let me know the answers in the chat, and we'll take a look at the solution after that. Okay, so it seems people are facing some difficulty with this question. Let's take a look. So what we need to do, yeah, okay, so DV seems to have gotten an answer. So I'll just discuss the answer, DV. I think that is not the correct answer what you gave. Yeah. So at t equal to 4, how the payments that will be left, basically we'll be left with 6 years to maturity. So we will be left with 12 coupon payments. So value of the bond will calculate directly as, so there's an 8% coupon which is annual, uh, semi-annual. So we'll convert it to a semi-annual, that is we'll get 4% there. And so basically we have a $400 coupon payment, and we have the discount rate of 5.6%. Again, this is also an annual rate, so we'll need it to convert it into a semi-annual rate. So this would be 2.8%, and our discounts would be something like this. Similarly, we'll get Yep. So using this formula, we can get the value of the bond, and I think the answer is B, 11,209. So yeah. So feel free to try these questions out even after the webinar, and let me know if you're not getting the right answer. Just drop me a mail. I'll be sharing the email ID. Okay, next we'll look at the change in price of bonds with the passage of time. So it's seen that for different bonds, regardless of what the price is sometime before the maturity, it's seen that, so say here the maturity value, that is the principal value, is $100. Seen that all the bonds basically converge to this value as the time passes and they come closer to maturity. So this is called this concept is the pulled to par principle. That is, the price of a bond will be pulled to par as it nears the maturity. Okay. So now looking at the traditional yield measures, we have, first of all, we have the current yield. So these are all essentially measures of how much return a bond or a security is giving to you based on your expenditure, or your based on your outlay on the security. So the current yield is basically the annual coupon interest that you'll receive upon the bond price. So it's a fairly simple formula. So the drawbacks here are that it only considers the coupon interest. It does not consider the principal payment. And as a result, capital gains or losses are not taken into account. This is actually one of the less frequently used measures. So, but definitely you should know the formula for this at least. Okay, so now we come to yield to maturity. This is one of the most important yield measures that we'll discuss for fixed income securities. So yield to maturity is basically the discount rate using which, if you discount using the yield to maturity, if you discount the cash inflows of the bond using the yield to maturity, you will end up with the price of the bond. So basically, this example is shown for a semi-annual coupon bond. So it's been discounted using the yield to maturity. So it's semi-annual, so the yield is divided by 2. So basically, since it's discounted by the yield to maturity, this value would be equal to the bond price. So yield to maturity is essentially how much return you are getting based on what is the price you paid for the bond. So next we'll look at the yield measure relationships. So a bond selling at par means that it is selling at the same amount as the principal or the par value. So this is seen in case of the coupon rate being equal to the yield to maturity, which will automatically in this case come out to be equal to the current yield. Next we have the case of bond selling at discount, where the coupon rate, this will happen when the coupon rate is less than yield to maturity and correspondingly less than current yield. Then we have the this bond selling at premium, which will happen when the coupon rate is greater than yield to maturity and also greater than the current yield. So this can be understood intuitively as well. So we can see that the coupon rate is basically the interest payment that a bond gives to its holders, and the yield to maturity is the interest payment that is expected. So if whenever the coupon rate is less than the yield to maturity, the bond is actually paying the holders less than it should be paying. So it will be selling at discount. And whenever it's giving a higher coupon rate, it's paying the customers a higher amount than what it should be paying. So it will sell at a premium. The advantage here is for yield to maturity is that it considers the timing of the cash flow. So when the cash flow arrives is very important here, and it considers both the coupon income and the capital gain of loss or loss, because it considers the par value or the principal value as well. Okay, so this is another example that you can try out. So they have a 10-year $1,000 par value bond, and it has a coupon of 7%. If it is priced at $920, what is the YTM? So again, here we'll use the same formula we just discussed. So if this is an annual coupon bond. So what we'll do is we'll equate the bond price with the cash inflows from the bond. So the bond price is $920. We'll equate this with the cash inflow. The cash inflow would be $70 coupon payments every year. Now the discount rate would be the YTM, which we need to find out. So we'll keep that like this. So here if we solve for YTM, we will get the value basically of 8.2%. Now it is actually rather difficult to solve an equation of this sort. So this calculation actually for CFA, the calculator used is the BA2 plus. So in that calculator, if you given these following inputs, that is the present value, that is the bond price, the number of periods, that is 10, the future value that or the face value, sorry, that would be $1,000, and the per month payment, that is coupon payment, that is $70. So if you're given these values, you can directly calculate the YTM value. It will come out as 8.2%. Okay, next we'll look at the traditional yield measures. So first off, we have the bond equivalent yield. So this basically allows securities whose payments are not annual to be compared with securities with annual yields. So it basically converts the yields of those non-annual payment securities into annual effective annual yields. So for instance, let's see this example. So a bond with a yield of 4% semi-annually. So this can be converted into a bond equivalent yield of 4 into 2, that is 8%. So now it can basically be compared with annual pay securities. Next we have the cash flow yield. So this is used for basically mortgage backed and other amortizing asset backed securities that have monthly cash flows. So what is done here is the payments are first aggregated to the 6 months level, and then they are converted into the corresponding rate and multiplied by 2. So you get the 6-month rate by compounding the monthly values, and then you multiply it by 2 to get the bond equivalent yield from the cash flow yield. Okay, so the bond equivalent yield can be calculated if we are given the yield to maturity. So this is the formula that we use for that. So basically 1 plus the YTM, we take a root of this minus 1 into 2. This will give us the bond equivalent yield. And the yield, then if we are given the bond equivalent yield, this is the formula to use to get the yield to maturity. This is also another important topic. Actually, it is considered one of the relatively tougher topics in fixed income securities. Okay. So here we have a question: what is the yield on a bond equivalent basis of an annual pay 9% coupon bond priced at par? So we basically need to convert the YTM into the BEY. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to try this out, and then we can see the solution. Okay, so let's look at the solution for this. So we'll be using the formula I just discussed, that is the bond equivalent yield would be 1 plus YTM, the root of this minus 1 into 2. So we can use this formula, and using this formula you'll get the answer as 8.8%, that is C. So again, please let me know if you have any doubts with these questions, either right now, or you can even drop me a mail later, and I'll get back to you on that. Okay, then the change in bond price with change in yield. So it's seen that as the required yield of bond increases, the prices decrease. So again, this can be seen intuitively because the yield is basically the amount of returns you are expecting from a bond, and when it increases, since the payment of a bond is in most of the cases it's fixed coupon payment, uh, the bond will actually be providing you with a lesser return than is required, so it will be trading at a discount and its price will decrease. Similarly, if the required yield decreases, the bond will be providing you a better return than is expected, and hence would be trading at a premium, and its price would increase. So basically here we have the same equation we used earlier. So bond price is the coupon payment discounted by the yield to maturity plus the par value discounted by the yield to maturity. So here we can directly see that as the value of yield to maturity would increase, since it's in the denominator, the bond price would automatically decrease. This can be seen through this price yield curve. So as the yield is increasing, the price is decreasing. Then we come to the concept of duration. So there are three interpretations of duration given in the CFA curriculum. So one is the slope of the price yield curve at the bond's current yield to maturity. Next is the weighted average of time until the cash flow will be received. So here the weights are a proportion of the bond value that each cash flow represents. So this is actually the Macaulay duration, which we'll be discussing in just a minute in the next few slides. Then we have a third interpretation, that is its approximate change in bond price for a 1% change in yield. So based on this interpretation, we can formulate this equation regarding the bond price. So here basically this represents the fractional change in the bond price, which is equal to the duration of the bond into the change in the yield. Okay, so we can use this equation to find out basically the change in bond price based on a particular change in the yield for the bond. Okay, then we look at the concept of effective duration. So duration is again the duration of the bond is sensitivity of a bond price to change in its interest rate. So interest rate directly affects the yield to maturity. So that is why they can sometimes be used interchangeably when talking about fixed income securities. So the formula to calculate effective duration is given as such that it is equal to the bond price when yield falls minus the bond price when the yield rises, divided by 2 into the initial price into the change in yield in decimals. So here what we do is we take a particular initial price of the bond, and corresponding to that we'll get a yield. Then we will try to see what was the increase in bond price on increasing the yield by a certain amount, and similarly what was the increase and what was the decrease in bond price on decreasing and increasing the yields by a same value, say delta y. So this will give us two values. This will be the delta p decrease. This will be the delta p increase. So using these two values here, bond price when yield falls and bond price when yield increases, we can calculate the effective duration. Next, we'll look at the percentage change in price using duration. Again, this is the same concept that we discussed in the previous slide. So the approximate percentage price change is the duration times the change in yield. So in this example, the bond has a duration of 7.8 years. The interest rate fell by 25 BPS. BPS is basically the basis points. So 100 BPS is basically 1% change. So 25 BPS means it's a 0.25% change. And we'll take its corresponding decimal value rather than the percentage value, because we will be multiplying it with 100. So the approximate price change would be duration, that is 7.8, into the change in yield, that is 0.0025 into 100. You might have noticed there's a negative sign here. So this is because the yield and the price are not directly related. So they are actually inversely related. So as the yield of the bond, the required yield increases, the price of the bond will decrease. So that is why we get a negative sign there. And for larger changes, convexity should be used, which we'll be discussing shortly. Okay, then we have the concept of Macaulay duration. That is another type of definition of duration. So this is basically the weighted average of the times when payments are made. So this basically takes up every coupon payment and eventually the maturity payment, and it determines what is its weightage in terms of what proportion of the bond price does a particular payment hold. And based on that, it will take a weighted average, and it will also use the time after which the particular payment is coming. So you will get a weighted average of the cash flow, and you can basically estimate in how many years you can reasonably expect to receive all the cash payments. Yeah, so DV has a question. So yeah, DV, duration is denoted in years. Uh, so yeah, so you can basically, because this is all a approximate percentage change, uh, we can ignore basically the year unit of the duration. We'll just take the absolute number. So don't try to rationalize the units. It gives me years. Yeah, so that the unit is years only. You don't. We can directly use it in the formula. You don't need to look at the units there. We'll just take the year value for the duration. Okay, so yeah, this is a good example to explain Macaulay duration. Um, so here we have the bond price. This is actually the bond price, 964.54. The coupon payments are $40 each for this time period. The principal payment is $1,000. So to find out the Macaulay duration, we will first of all we'll take every cash flow and discount it to the present value. So we will discount all of these cash flows to their present value. And then we'll take the how much time each cash flow is going to take in coming to in being available to the buyer. So as you can see, we have directly, it's pretty self-explanatory. We have a $40 cash flow after 1 year, which will be discounted like this. A $40 cash flow after 2 years, and similarly, finally, we have a $1,040 cash flow after 4 years, which will be discounted like this. And we are also taking the amount of time that cash flow is taking to come to the user. Then we'll divide this by the total bond price. So this will give us the Macaulay duration. So overall, this tells us in how much time basically the payments for the bond can be made to the user. This gives an average to that. Then we have the concept of modified duration. Modified duration is the same as the measure we discussed before. That is basically it's the change in this is the formula. It gives the change in percentage change in bond price divided by the change in yield. So using this, we can find out the change in bond price for a particular change in the yield for the bond. So here's an example. The current price of the bond is 98.75. Its modified duration is 5.2 years. The YTM is 7.5%. What would be the price if yield became 8%? So basically the change in yield here is 0.5%, which will translate to, we actually only take the decimal values rather than the percentage values, because we multiply it by the 100 later on. So we'll take the delta y value, we have the modified duration, and we have the current price of the bond. That will give us a change of minus 2.57. So you can see as the yield increased from 7.5 to 8%, the price of the bond actually decreased $2.57. Next we have the concept of again the modified duration is calculated if you are given the Macaulay duration. The modified duration can be calculated like this: Macaulay duration divided by 1 plus YTM divided by the number of interest payments per year. So usually you should be given the Macaulay duration, and only then would you be asked to calculate the modified duration. So the calculation in the last slide should ideally not be asked from you in the exam. Then we have effective duration. Effective duration calculations explicitly take into account the bond's option provisions, which such as the embedded options. So often bonds have options embedded in them, which can be used by the either the buyer or the issuer. So this basically takes care of the change in the value of the bond that comes across as a result of those embedded options. So if whenever there is a case where a bond has embedded options in them, you should use the concept of effective duration rather than modified duration or Macaulay duration. Okay. Then we have the duration of portfolio. So if we have a portfolio of bonds and we know the duration of each bond, we can find out the duration of the portfolio by taking a weighted average of the duration of individual securities. So this will give us a combined value for the duration of the whole portfolio. So this will basically tell us how susceptible the whole portfolio is to a change in yield. So basically how much the portfolio's value will change with a given change in yield. So problem with this equation is that it's only good for a parallel shift in the yield curve. So here we are assuming that for all the bonds, if there is a shift in yield, the shift in yield will be the same. Whereas it's usually seen that since it's a portfolio of different bonds, they will have different maturities. And for bonds of different maturities, usually the change in the yield is different. So in that case, we cannot use the concept of portfolio duration. Okay, so looking at the price volatility and convexity. So the price yield curve, as you can see, is negatively sloped and is a curve. So its shape, this sort of a shape is basically called a convex shape. And the amount of curve in the price yield curve is called the convexity. So this is basically, this is the convexity value of C1. So if there's another curve like this, the price yield curve, its convexity value would be C2 and C2 would be greater than C1. It has more convexity because it is more curve. Yeah, so now let's look at how convexity comes into the measurement of change in price of a bond with change in yield. So basically we earlier saw the how we use the concept of duration to find out the change in bond price based on a change in yield. So that is basically D into delta Y. This will give us delta P by P. Now what this is doing is, if you can see, this is a linear equation and we have delta P on the y-axis, delta Y on the x-axis. So this estimates the change in bond price with the change in yield as a linear line. That is this line here. So whereas actually the price yield curve is curved something like this. So if you can see, this amount is the curvature effect that is not incorporated by the duration. So this is actually attributable to the convexity of the bond. So whenever so here we can see that if we want to calculate a change in price for a small change in yield, it can be estimated with a reasonable certainty, with a reasonable accuracy, because the change in yield is not too high. But as the change in yield increases, say from this point y0 to this point y1, the change in value from using the concept of duration, that would be this, and the actual change in value, that would be lesser, that is this, would be very different. So here basically we need to use the concept of convexity along with duration. So this is the formula for using the concept of duration and convexity together. So that is minus duration times delta y plus convexity times square of delta y into 100. So we can use this. So this can be used when, first of all, the convexity is given in the question and the change in yield is higher as compared to before. So whenever the change in yield is high, we will need to use the convexity to remove the errors. So this is a question: a bond has a duration of 7 and a convexity of 65.4. The estimated percent change in the price of this bond due to a decline in yield of 150 basis points would be what? So again, we'll use the same formula that we just saw. So basically, the percentage change in price would be minus duration into the change in yield plus the convexity into square of the change in yield into 100. So putting in the values of, so D here would be 7, convexity here would be 65.4. The value of delta Y would be, this is 150 basis points, that means it's 1.5%. So that will be 0.015. So using these values, we can calculate the percentage change. So, and since it's we can straight away eliminate two options, because since it's a decline in yield, it will result in an increase in bond price. So the change can only be positive. So options B and D can anyways not be correct. And finally, from the calculation, we can see that C is the answer. Okay, so then we have the price value of a basis point. So this is basically the absolute value of the change in price of a bond for a 1 basis point change in the yield. So this can be found by a simple formula, that is this. The price value of basis point is the duration times 0.01%, that is the change in yield, and into the bond value, that is the present price. So in fact, this is just a rearrangement of the previous formula that we saw, that is delta P is equal to minus delta D into delta Y into P. Here we only consider the absolute value, so we won't have this negative sign. Okay. Okay, so this is a recap that you can see at your leisure to basically go over the formulas that we discussed in today's session. So I'll be mailing the PPT, this PPT to all the attendees. So feel free to go through this and let me know in case of any doubts that you have. Okay, so other than this, we are also coming up with a lot of other free stuff. So here are some links of the blogs and quizzes of other recent webinars that we had on our site to help with the CFA FRM preparation. So feel free to go through them and contact me or anyone or Zainab, whose ID is given here, in case of any doubts. And I'll be mailing you the PPT in some time. And tomorrow on day after tomorrow, we are having another webinar which should be very useful, especially for FRM candidates. It's on hypothesis testing using various tests. So this is the registration link. So please register for that. I think it should be very useful for you. Plus, we are also coming up with the classroom training in New York for FRM trainees. So I think if I'm right, that is the first time classroom training is happening in New York. So I would encourage FRM candidates to take part in that. It will be more of a review course, so that should help you consolidate your concepts in FRM and should shore up your preparations for the exam. Okay, so that's it from my side. So I'll just ask everyone if there are any other questions that they want answered right now. And so if you can let me know in the chat, that will be great. Yeah, so I think no one has any questions for now. So I guess that's it then. Thank you guys. Please go through the PPT once I mail it to you. I'll do that soon. And definitely let me know in case you have any doubts regarding this topic, or if you want information regarding the upcoming webinars or the classroom training. Okay then, thank you guys.